Today's question is, hey Todd, I tried to search for people in my city to practice game, but I haven't found anybody, and all my friends are in long-term relationships or don't know about game. Any advice on going out by myself? Okay, so I'm going to break this into two parts. First, how to go out solo, and second, how to go out not solo, or how to not go out solo if you want to look at it that way. So you may not know this, but when I first started doing game, I went solo for 3 straight years with no wingmen, no support structure. I did read some theories online, which were nowhere near as good as the videos you have at your disposal these days, but I was basically going it alone. And you know what? It was absolutely beautiful. In fact, one of my favorite things to this day is going out alone, because when you go out alone, it is the purest form of game. There's no one there to watch you. There's no one you have to perform for. You're just doing it purely for, you're here, the girl's hot, you're playing the game, and that's it. It's actually a wonderful, wonderful thing. But why do guys get hung up on going out solo? There are a number of reasons. Number one, if you have approach anxiety, having someone to push you or encourage you can be helpful. And so if you're dealing with that, then yeah, going out solo can be a little bit difficult and you want to find a way around it. For example, you might do progressive desensitization, go up and make yourself just say hello or ask a question, ask for directions, and then leave. Then practice going, giving a compliment and leaving, then give a compliment and introduce yourself and leave, then eventually get into a regular conversation, etc. So you can give yourself baby steps. You can make it easier for yourself in order to get yourself there if approach anxiety is a thing. Because definitely having a wingman or a coach or a mentor or someone to push you can help with approach anxiety. So that's one thing you may deal with if you're going out solo. Second thing you may deal with if you're going out solo is the idea that it's weird or awkward or whatever to go out, for example, to a night game venue by yourself. And it is less common, but no one is really going to judge you for a few reasons. Number one, no one is probably even gonna notice, all right? If you're standing around in a club and everybody else is doing their thing and having fun and interacting with their friends, they're not like looking over at you constantly. They're too busy doing whatever they're doing or worried about, how does their hair look? And does this girl like me? Or does this guy like me? Or am I gonna get to the bar to get my drink? They're not focused on you. I know in our arrogant, egotistical minds, we think we're the center of the universe and everyone's focused on us. It's actually not true. About 95% of the time, if you've been in the bar solo and you walk up and talk to a girl, she has no idea you existed before you went up and talked to her. She does not know you've been there solo before. It's not going to affect the approach in any way, shape, or form. Now, this might change in a very, very empty bar, but in general, in a normal bar where it's fairly crowded, nobody there at all is going to notice you're there by yourself, so don't worry about it. If not talking to anyone while you're there yourself kind of puts you in your head, by all means, talk to some people, even if they're people you don't care about the outcome with. Talk to random guys, talk to the bar staff, talk to girls that are less attractive and that you're not actually trying to attract. Get yourself talkative, get your mouth moving, create maybe even kind of a home base of people that like you so that you can go out and do some approaches. You can always come back to them if you want to. That's actually not that hard to do. The people that you go out with don't have to be people you actually left the house together with, arrived at the bar together with, and leave with. You can just be together with them while you're in the bar, which means you can just meet them while you're in the bar as well. One final major thing that a lot of guys struggle with if they go out alone is dealing with groups. And this actually does require a bit of skill. It is actually more difficult than talking to a girl by yourself, but not as much as you might think. First of all, if you are alone, tend to try to avoid groups of 2 girls if you can. Obviously, if the hottest girl in the place is in a group of 2, go talk to the 2 of them, do the best you can. Just know that you're probably not as likely to take her home. You're more likely to take a phone number out of that situation because it's going to be hard to have her leave her friend. Ideally, if you're by yourself, you're looking for girls by themselves, which doesn't happen often, but does happen often enough to be worth looking for, and or groups of 3 or bigger. Right? So if there's 3 girls, 4 girls, 5 girls, those are the groups you should be looking to talk to when you're by yourself, because that way you can talk to the whole group a little bit, then you can talk one-on-one to the girl you're most interested in, and her friends can kind of entertain themselves, engage themselves, so they're not feeling the lack of her company the entire night, and they're not super hyper protective and super hyper clingy on her. Most guys who haven't done game are probably terrified of approaching groups, but the funny thing is, groups are actually as easy or easier to approach than girls by themselves. In terms of what to say to them, whatever you would say to the girl by herself, just make it collective. So if you would say a direct open like, hey, you're cute, I want to meet you, like, hey, you guys are cute together, I wanted to come say hi. Just cute together, and you included the whole group. Or, I can't believe you guys all just did that, I don't know if I love you or hate you guys right now. Right? You just made the singular opener a collective opener, and you're completely fine. And then within that first 30 seconds to a minute, you want to engage the girl you're talking to directly in some way different than the group or apart from the group, and you want to engage the group in general. You want to do both within the first 30 seconds. The reason why opening a group can actually be easier than opening a girl by herself, though, is if you open a girl by herself, you need 100% of the girls there to like you. If you open a group of 3, in order to stay, you only need 33% of the girls to like you, and then you can leverage that to getting the others to like you. And particularly when you're talking about the absolute hottest girls who get approached a lot and kind of have an automatic defense mechanism in some cases, if you approach them by themselves, oftentimes less likely to get a good response than if you actually approach them with a group. If you walk over and start talking to her friends, even if the girl you're interested in didn't like you at first, she's part of the interaction and she's seeing you build value, build social proof, convey your personality. And so you have a much bigger window to convey positive qualities to then get her attracted to you. So especially for the hottest girls, it's sometimes actually even easier to approach them in a group than when they're by themselves. So that's a little bit about going out solo, and I think it is actually one of the best and purest forms of game and also one of the best ways to improve your game. But if you are by yourself but don't want to go out solo, there are additional options. For example, if you go to events or nights that have a theme, then you won't really be going out solo in the same way because you won't be in that bar setting where it's awkward to be solo. And also there will be a lot more other people that are there solo. And also you have a common interest or a common thing to do, which facilitates the approach. Let's say you join like a dance class and you go out to like salsa night with your dance class, or you go join, another dance class at a salsa night, something like that. Now you have a theme. Now you have something in common with everyone there. You have the ability to walk up and say, hey, let's dance. And it's considered totally socially normal and cool. And you can start a conversation. Another way to achieve this kind of phenomenon of being solo but not solo is say yes to general invitations. If your friends or coworkers are going out after work and they want to go out for a beer, go join them for a little bit. If someone invites you to a party, even if you're not that interested in the party, just swing by and say hi, see if there's any eligible girls there, and say hi to the host so they'll maybe invite you to stuff in the future. And that way, again, you knew at least one person, you're invited by the host, it's normal and cool and chill to be there. It's a little bit less awkward potentially than being solo at a bar would be. So you want to look for these social activities, social environments that lend themselves to meeting people and feeling less awkward and make it more okay to be alone. Not that it ever wasn't okay, as I mentioned before. Finally, in order to go out with someone, you don't necessarily need a wingman or even a man at all. You can absolutely go out with a friend who doesn't know game and just have him be there. You can do the approaches and bring girls back to him. He does not have to be good with girls. As long as he's relatively normal, he will be helpful. But you know what's even better than going out with a guy? Going out with women. If you meet girls who maybe you didn't approach and it turns out they have a boyfriend or not, open to doing something romantic with you, but genuinely like you, invite them out as friends to go out together. And by the way, if the boyfriend wants to come, invite him too. What do you have to lose, right? Also, tell her she can bring her other female friends. Bring a group. You being with a group of people, now all of a sudden you're not alone. You don't have to have a male wingman who's on the hunt with you in order to have people with you. And you know what's actually way more useful than a male wingman is a female wingman. Because women build much more trust and comfort with women than men ever can. And the nice thing about these two strategies is they're not either or. They work together. If you go out alone yourself sometimes and actually talk to some people and make some friends, well, that's going to get you invited to parties and salsa nights and different things like that. And it's also going to lead to you meeting girls who are off the market but like your personality, who can then become your female friends. And maybe you're talking to a girl, some other guy's there, he becomes your wingman for the night, or maybe you exchange numbers and that becomes your new wingman. So if you do go out solo, just push through it and do the best you can. As I mentioned at the start of this video, a lot of opportunities will open up for you to have wingmen by accident that will work out really well for you, like I mentioned at the end of this video. All right? So definitely, please do go out solo. Use the tips I gave you here. And if you do go out solo, it will very quickly lead to you going out not solo.